live in a little town in the Netherlands called Dordrecht. Dordrecht. I coach at CrossFit in Bellum, and I have a dog.
Awesome. Good. I like that you added the part of a dog.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Man and woman's best friend.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Put that in there.
I'm not my only one.
What did you do? You're a coach, but what did you do before all that?
So I finished high school, and I decided to go traveling afterwards. Before that, I had to work for 8 months full time to save some money.
Yeah.
And then I went to Australia.
Awesome.
Basically.
Yeah, that's great.
Awesome.
Yep.
Good. Cool story, bro.
How was your adventure in Australia?
The first part of Australia was pretty tough. It was hard. It wasn't really easy. In the beginning, I had problems understanding the people because they have such a weird accent. A good accent, but a weird accent.
Well, sure, and Dutch is your first language too, so
Exactly.
yeah, it's extra complicated.
Yeah,
That's
and I
understandable.
thought my English was okay, but then I heard them speak with their accent, and I was like, in which country am I? But yeah, so okay, that wasn't the worst part, of course. I could get used to the language, so that was okay. And then after that, I traveled for a month, I guess, and then I started working because I was losing money, and I thought, okay, I better earn money now so that I'm not gonna be without money anytime soon.
So where did you work?
I worked at a hotel restaurant. In the hotel, I worked as a maid, and in the restaurant, I worked as a waitress. And besides those jobs, I worked at a winery, a wine garden. I left that part out last time, but it's really.
So you actually had 3 jobs while you were on your holiday and traveling.
Exactly. So. What it was, so when I would do when I was a waitress and cleaning the rooms, I would do it so that I could live in their house and have food and stuff. And then the work at the winery would actually give me some money. So I didn't lose money, and I got a little bit of money, for it back for it.
Yeah.
But it wasn't much.
Good.
So yeah, the 3 jobs actually, it wasn't fun. I felt miserable because there wasn't much around. There was a little grocery store where I could go and buy chocolate.
Was this the part where you had to sleep in a bunker? Or?
No,
not even.
That's later.
Okay.
Yes. Not that this was much better.
Okay.
But so anyway, there wasn't much around, and I was like, oh my god, I'm here on my own, and I felt sad, and I didn't like the job, I didn't like the people that I was with, and there weren't many people, they were all old people as well. There was one guy, he was my roommate from my age as well. We didn't really get along, but we had to because we only had each other, and we both thought it was a fucked up situation. Excuse my language. So yeah, we kind of started to become friends. Just we had to.
You had common adversity. You guys were both in a situation together, so
exactly.
ate on it together.
Yes, exactly. And then after that, I never spoke to him again. So, so yeah, it was hard work. Didn't get much for it, and
Okay, sucky situation. So
exactly.
after that, how did you get out of it? Just
I
run?
was done because I thought, like, what the hell am I doing? I'm here to travel. I'm here to have fun. I'm not gonna do this. This is stupid. And I worked there and I lived there for 2 months, so that's too long. And then after that, I went to Darwin. That's in the north of Australia. And I had to wait for a bit because I made a agreement or something, like I would go travel with 7 other Germans, but that would be like a month later or something. I was like, okay, I have to do something in the meantime, something that won't waste my money, and something that I will, save money. So I went to Catherine, that's a little bit below Darwin, to work for a family, and they would give me a place to live, sleep, and they would give me food. So when I got there, it was like a big countryside, and there was nothing around, like literally nothing, not even a grocery store. And I had to live in a bunker that was like a few 100 meters away from the family house.
Completely isolated.
Exactly. There was no reception.
That's terrible.
There was no reception. I was all on my own. No reception. The television didn't work. I had nothing. I literally had nothing. And then I would clean around the family's house, so that was good. But actually, it all kind of sucked. Like, I didn't earn any money with it, but I could save my money for living there, you know. Doing domestic tasks, you know, so around the house. And then when I had to go back to the bunker at night, they would tell me, careful for the snakes. Thanks. It's dark, I have my flashlight. Shit, what's that? What's that?
Now get back to your bunker.
Yeah, something like that.
Cinderella.
Yeah, that's what I keep
And the funny
picturing.
part is, when they would come to the bunker, they would always drive. They would use the car to come to the bunker.
How far was this
It
bunker?
was pretty fucking far, I can tell you this. Yes. And I was.
So they even thought about your exercise. I think that's very.
They were looking out for you?
It was so freaking hot there. Dry and hot. It was almost 40 degrees. I hated it when I had to walk from the bunker to the house and from the house to the bunker.
And you had to dodge snakes. In
Apparently.
Australia.
Yes.
Everything there is trying to kill you.
So yeah. So how
That's
did you
true.
get through?
Now,
I don't know how I did that. So anytime, so when I was in the house, I would use my phone for reception and to make contact with everybody, and then I had to go back to the bunker. And at nighttime, I was so afraid because there were wallabies. And wallabies are the cutest animals ever, but I didn't know what it was, and they would like jump around the bunker, and it was dark. I was like, what the fuck? I'm all on my own. Oh my god, I'm gonna get raped or something, or eaten. I don't know. I didn't know what to think. But it was not. And then I was like after 2 weeks, I was like, no, I am not gonna do this again. I am not happy. I need to get somewhere where I am happy, and it's not here. So I told them, I'm sorry, I am gonna leave early, I'm gonna leave soon, and they let me, of course, so that's good.
Yeah.
I'm so happy they let me go.
You were brave.
Yeah.
Finally.
Cinderella escaped.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
But it was actually pretty good because the Germans were in Darwin a bit earlier than they thought they would be, so we could
Okay, so that
actually
was
go
good.
and travel straight on, so that's good.
Nice. Okay, and then tell us the part about the shopping. Why you went shopping for new clothes?
Oh, fuck. Okay, so the first place where I worked and lived, I became fat. Like.
So the first place was this.
Oh, it was the first place.
It was
I
the
thought it
first
was in the
place.
bunker.
Yeah, I was
No,
thinking.
because
Good.
in the bunker I couldn't go to a grocery store, so I couldn't go buy chocolate. In the first place, I could buy chocolate, and I would eat bar sizes of these, like, Jesus. And
So the second place, they put you in a bunker and made you hike
Yeah.
without food or water.
Well,
They
no,
tried to help you.
gave
Did you
me-
get it?
Okay, so here's the thing.
So
I
mean.
made myself fat by eating a lot of chocolate and cookies and chips and all that kind of shit.
Mm-hmm.
And so in the second place, all I got there was like just the prepared meal in a can, and it tasted terrible. Too much salt, no taste at all, and yeah. Sometimes she would buy me like crackers, and then I had butter and I had sugar, so I was like, I can make a thing out of it, like crackers, butter, and sugar. That's good.
That's a horrible
Yeah, that's
situation.
not-
But get to the part where you went shopping.
Oh yeah, so I didn't know I got that fat until I was in Melbourne shopping in the H&M, and I had like a couple of
Love
things.
the fact that she said H&M, because that's Australian.
That's Australian.
H.
Shit.
H. the
H&M. Shit. That's
Oh,
so true.
it's perfect for the story.
That's so funny. And I had some couple of clothes with size S. I was like, I'm gonna try this on, and I looked in the mirror. I was like, what the fuck? Is this me? I was like, I'm not gonna get in here. It was terrible. I had a little like inside crying moment. That was terrible.
Yeah. So from there, so you knew you got a little fatter, and of course that breaks your heart. And but did you do anything about it, or did you? went
Yeah,
on?
so when I got to Sydney, I started living in Sydney for like 6 months, working there, and then I started working out again, and I asked Coach Enzo for a training program and what I could do with my food. And I went from 68 kilos to 65, I guess, so that was pretty good. Yeah, so that was good.
So were you active before then, like going to Australia? You had
Yeah, I already
involvement
did
and-
CrossFit. So before I went to Australia, I
So you were in the motions, you were in a routine, you got to CrossFit, and you encountered some situations that probably put you outside of your comfort zone.
yeah.
And that's where you found chocolate and all these other wonderful things.
Yes.
And you eventually got through all of this. Sounds like it was rough. You got quite a bit beaten up and found
Yeah.
food as a coping mechanism.
Yeah,
But you
definitely.
didn't sound like you had much else other than bad living situations and a lot of work and snakes and
Yes.
rapey wallabies.
Okay, so my
So-
Australian adventure sucks.
No,
We're not there yet, because
No,
it got a little better.
Yes,
We're still in Sydney,
yes.
and
Yeah.
so what happened after that? So you got a little bit
Yeah.
fitter. You got a
Okay,
little bit.
yeah. So well, I skipped the best part of my whole trip, and that was the trip with the Germans. I had a road trip through the center of Australia, and it was so much fun. So that was really good. I had the chance to interact with people again, and that's amazing after a time of no talking.
So got you out of that depressive time.
Exactly. Yeah, that was so good. And then I went to Sydney, and I started living there with 20 other people in one house. We only had 6 rooms. That was good, but you get used to it, so it's really good. One big family, and then I started working at a restaurant in the kitchen. And at the beginning, it was really good. I liked the payment. It was a little bit below average, but it was okay. Because in the Netherlands it would be a lot, so but then they started doing evening hours, so my hours became longer. I already had to start at 5 because I did the bakery, and sometimes they would keep me until 7 at night. Sometimes they would keep me until 11 at night. So my longest shift was 17 and a half hours.
That's a long shift.
It's a long shift. But I couldn't say no. So I was like, yeah, they need me, they need me for the baking, they need me for this, for that, and I did a lot in that kitchen. So of course I had the feeling that they couldn't do it without me, because they would always tell me, like, we really need you today, like we cannot do this without you. Okay, so yeah, I'll be there, and I don't know, I lost contact with my housemates because sometimes they went to a party, they would come back at night, and I was leaving for work, and that was a little bit the situation. That was when I get to see people.
Yeah.
Got to see people. Yeah.
Not fun.
No, that was, and
Fun.
then working out sucks because I was only working.
Yeah, and then there was something happening with a guy who did the dishwashing, and he always put
Yeah.
a
So
pin in the.
yeah, we had
Right.
a guy, and he would always do exactly what you didn't ask him to do. And I asked him if he could if he wanted to put the bin around the corner so that we wouldn't walk against it, because it was like a narrow space to walk around, a small kitchen. And one day it was easier for him to keep it next to him, and it was okay. Like I saw the bin, but I was walking with this box, and I actually thought I also left this out.
It's
last time.
okay.
I was walking with the box, and then I knew the bin was there, so I was like, I'm gonna walk around it, but it was closer than I thought. So I actually made like a misstep, and I would go through my ankle, and then my knee just made this like, and then it would go out and in. I thought it was something like that, like
So dislocated.
dislocate. Yeah. And then I couldn't walk anymore.
So that was instant pain.
That was instant
You
pain.
knew then something was.
But I kept moving, and I had to work for another half an hour, and then I was like, I'm not gonna do this because I can't walk properly. So I went home, and I actually had to ask a friend if he could pick me up to drive me home, and it was alright because I sat down and I didn't feel my knee. But then when I stood up again, whoa, I could not do anything with it. Like I couldn't bend it, I couldn't stretch it, I couldn't put pressure on it, I couldn't do anything. Then I went to the hospital, and they couldn't find anything, and that was a terrible story in the hospital because I had to be there for like freaking 6 hours. Terrible.
Fun times.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Go to Australia, they said.
Yeah.
But that was actually the moment that I could say, I'm not coming to work anymore because I am literally not able to do my job.
So unfortunately, they broke you.
Yeah.
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 They worked you until they broke you.
Kind of, yes.
Yeah.
So, but did you learn anything from that?
I learned that I have to, stay true to myself. Like, am I able to handle this job? And in the beginning, I really liked the job. At the end, I didn't like it anymore. So some things.
But you kept on
happened.
working.
I kept on working.
Well, they
because
kept
I couldn't say no. Yeah, exactly.
They kept asking more of you,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
you were the piece that held everything together.
Yes.
And I think also that you're a very nice, hardworking person. So sometimes you see this and people can take advantage of it,
Yes.
especially if you're not able to say no.
Exactly. Yeah. So.
And
Yeah.
your knee injury, was that what kind of pushed you to say, no more, I can't do it? That was
I
physically just done.
I was physically I was done, and mentally I was done way before. I guess automatic pilot,
Yeah. So what did you do? You got the knee injury, you told them no, you're in Australia
Yeah.
now.
So I had to walk on crutches for like 2 weeks because I literally could not put pressure on it. I couldn't walk on it. And then I actually went back to the kitchen a few times because they needed me to help the other girl that would do my tests. And
So you explained her what to do and you didn't do anything, basically.
kind of, yeah.
Oh, that's
because,
awesome.
Because
Yeah.
I had my crutches,
Yeah,
so
right.
Your hands were
I could,
full.
yeah,
Good job.
exactly.
Yeah.
And then I would drink coffee at the bar, so that's good. That wasn't a problem, and I got paid for it, so that's okay. But after that, I was done. I was like, I'm never ever gonna do this again in my life. But I actually did it a little bit again. So when I got back home, I started working in hospitality again as a waitress, and I worked many hours, long days. But the longest days I did there was maybe 12 or 13 hours, not longer than that. So actually, if you compare it to the other job, it's pretty okay,
It's progressing.
Yes.
Yeah.
The knee injury at this time when you're back in Holland now, are you still noticing the knee is there? Are you
Yes,
recovered? or-
my knee is not okay.
So you're still working and you still notice that there's something wrong with the knee. Are you involved in sports? Are you doing anything
I
for
do
recovery?
a lot of sports, and I am working on it to help it recover.
Oh, good.
But it's a lot of work. It's a lot of patience as well, and it's the patience I don't have. So at the time my knee feels okay again, I feel like going, full squats, heavy weights, and then after that I'm like, shit, too fast, too soon, and that sucks because I just want to move again. You know, I want to do the exercises again, but I don't know. I know that patience is what I need.
So you're learning some patience. You're still doing the work. Are you involved here at Envelum yet, or have you
Yes.
found Envelum?
Yes, so I don't, okay, so when I got back out from Australia, I was depressed. I had like a post-travel depression. I'm calling it that way, I'm not sure if it was, but
It's a real thing.
I wasn't
for you.
having fun in my life. My life, I was like, you know what, if I'm dead tomorrow, I don't even care anymore. I don't know what to do here anymore. There was this huge gap and I couldn't get out of it, but then Embellum came and we had to like, we had to build it up. And I started helping, doing that. And that was really good because I I could interact with people again and I got out of my comfort zone again and it was really good. So by the time this place opened, I started working out again. I started doing CrossFit again. And so the first 2 months were so heavy. They were terrible. But then after that, it was actually kind of fun. And then and that's where I started working at the restaurant. And then after that, I was like, I am not gonna work in a restaurant anymore. So I quit after 5 months. But I did that because I wanted to go travel again. But before I went to travel, I wanted to make sure I had a plan this time, so that when I would come back, I had something to do, you know. So that's good because I asked Brew if I could do like an internship here, to get to know a little bit more about personal training and, you know, movement, exercises,
So
CrossFit.
the spark was started when you came back and you started to help here and you found something that attracted your attention.
Yes, yeah. And well, I was thinking like, what do I want with my life? And I couldn't think about anything else than, okay, the only thing in my life I like most is CrossFit. I was like, oh, I have to do something with that, right?
If you're passionate, sure, you
Yeah.
find what your passion is. And for you, so how did you come across the feeling to find this was your passion? Was this something you grew into it? Did you note it right away? Like you picked up the barbell and you were like, aha, or you found the people, you found
the people, the community was all so good, you know, like it's one big family. I don't know, like without CrossFit in Bellum, I don't know, I don't have friends, I guess. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, it's the community, it's the sports, it's always different, you know, so that's the fun part about it. Like it is always something else and you don't know what, so you're like kind of like excited but also a little bit nervous, like what it's gonna be today, you know. But that's good.
And it's cool that you found it after all this I won't say bad experiences, but after all these experiences that were really not what made you happy.
Mm-hmm.
And the entire time you were doing stuff for other people, and it sounds like you were inside just not content. You were just looking.
Yeah.
And then you come across something, then you were like, look.
Yes, this is, yeah. And even though I have the mindset of like I have to be I have to know when I want to say no, when I feel like saying no. And in this job it's different because I don't often feel like saying no. So it's good. I have fun doing this work. I do things for other people, but in a good way. I actually help them and they don't take advantage of me, you know, so
You have established boundaries.
And
yes.
Yeah, and did you learn to say no more often?
I still think it's hard, but it's also because I don't want to miss out on things. So I like helping here, I like doing stuff, and I don't know if I feel like, so when I say no, I'm like, oh my god, am I gonna miss out on something? You know, like, I want to be there.
That's opportunities. You just never know
Yeah.
what is there until you're actually doing it. But,
Exactly.
Yeah. And so when did you get serious then about coaching? You came back, you talked with Rule, you were saying, can we get some intern? But when did you, Thessa, become like, I wanted a coach, this is for me?
Well, my internship started in January 2018, so this year, and it lasted until end of March or beginning of March. No, so in March I got my level 1, and then I could actually coach.
Okay.
And then I became an official coach. It was so much fun, and it was scary because I had to do it on my own now, and the Rule wasn't there anymore. But it was at the beginning it was hard because I had to coach people that I would train with before, you know. But now it's actually so much fun. I really like doing it. So it's.
Did you ever have the feeling like, and they're never gonna accept me. I'm gonna bail.
Oh.
I'm gonna stop.
At the beginning, all the time, they would test me. You know, like, okay, so I say something, but do I really agree with what I say? So they would test me in that, you know. So they would ask me something, and I would give them an answer, but they could see my insecurity, so they had to ask a little bit more or push a little bit harder, you know. And then I couldn't really stick to what I was saying, and then they had me, you know, like that. And it's not in a way that they wanted to bully me or something in that, you know, but they were like kind of teasing, like testing what I knew, what I could do, you know. And but now that's so different because I know what I'm saying.
You know what you're saying. You're
And,
not
yeah.
insecure at all.
No.
And that's a big difference.
Yeah, and
when you
they
just
don't
start
do
coaching.
that anymore. But at the beginning they did, and I was so insecure because when would they ever take me seriously, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's different now.
Good. So right now that's a great part of your life, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I don't try to fill that in for you, but comparing to where you were at the jobs you had before,
Yeah, this is an upgrade.
this is
huge
an upgrade. It's going
Yes.
well.
Yes.
But where do you want to go? What's your end goal, or maybe your 1 or 5 year goal?
Well, actually, I thought about that, and I like when I see my future, I see it the same way as it is now, only a little bit wealthier, you know.
Yeah.
But what I'm doing right now, like helping people, doing the job I do, I don't feel like stopping that. I can only make it greater, of course, but I like it this way, and this is what I'm doing now. I feel like doing in 5 years. I feel like doing in 10 years. So that's really good. Like I'm at a point that I can say I am happy with what I do.
So you're on the right track. You just
Yes.
want to go on with this.
Exactly. Like I want to leave my mother's house one day. So of course I want to. I also want to be like successful financially, but I also notice that I don't really need that so much because it already gives me so much happiness and, you know, joy to actually do this.
Yeah.
So I don't feel unhappy. I don't feel broke or something.
Like
It's
you felt in Australia,
Exactly. Like,
Yeah.
and in Australia, I actually had more money than I have now.
right?
But I always felt like, no, I have to work harder to get more money. But I was so unhappy. And now I'm like, no, I'm doing the job I do. I take my power nap now and then, and I take the rest when I feel I need rest. And yeah, I'm happy this way. It's good.
So in terms of success, would you say you're more successful right now than you were in Australia? Would you say you were?
Definitely. Yeah, I had more money in Australia, but I was not happy. Like, okay, so no, not my whole adventure was, not my whole adventure sucked. It was really good. It was good experience.
Yeah, you learned a lot.
I learned a lot. Yes.
And it led
And I
you
made a
to.
lot of friends.
It led you to here. So it
Exactly.
sounds like that was
Yes.
part of the journey that got you to your happy spot.
That's true. That's true. That's true.
And so going forwards with the 5-10 years, you said you don't see yourself leaving. You're more involved now with your
Yeah.
coaching. You're doing some other things. You're
I
always busy.
yeah, like I want to learn how to take responsibility for my own business. Um, and actually that includes Embellum because of course I do have my own business, but Embellum is the bigger part of it, and I really like that. And I just want to grow, you know, here, and then I want to be able to become what Rue is for me, right? So Rue is head coach, and if I don't know something, then I can ask him. And I want to be able to do that to another coach. Like I want to be one of the head coaches, and then they can come to me and ask me like, so how is this or how does that work? And then I can help them. Then I can even help more people. You know, that's good. I think that's
how it
that's a
spreads.
goal.
Good.
Yeah.
I think it's a beautiful thing too, because you talked about like when you first started, you had some insecurities, and then in this process, now you're talking about you're wanting to be able to coach other coaches. That sounds like
Yes.
you went a long way from speaking to people that might be entry level to this process to now you're saying I can critique people who understand, and
Yeah.
you're able to improve.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's really great. So what else are you doing for the future? You got anything else fun? Anything else under wraps? Any other big plans?
Eat more of your popcorn.
That's a good plan.
That's a great plan.
Yeah.
And I see that you do a lot of. You're starting blogging. I saw some
Yes.
online blogs, so that's
Yeah.
cool.
So that's part of my own business, but I also share it with Embellum, so that's good. And yeah, I sometimes I feel like writing just to like express myself. I have a hard time communicating with people like talking. But then I can write, and I like that. I can actually just express my feelings and let people know what I experience. Like you see, as an athlete, you do what you do, you know, like you have a coach, he will tell you what to do, and that's it. But as I was both, like I would train here, and then like all of a sudden I got to the other side, and then I had to coach people, and I was like, that's a whole different function, you know. So and I think it's fun for people to actually see that coaches are still the same people, and you know they experience things in their own way, and in that way I'd hope to be an example for some people, you know.
Yeah.
And also like let them see my flaws, and you know that I'm not perfect, and
We're human.
we're human.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
exactly.
that's the beauty about the blog, because I really like your blogs. They're always about interesting stuff, but always also about how you experience those things you write about. So I think that's really cool for people to read that, and a lot of people can learn from the things you did, or maybe the mistakes you made. So that's awesome.
Yeah,
Like, kudos.
Yeah, your willingness to share that with people is huge, because maybe you can help someone in the future see something that you've experienced, and they can stop that from happening to them.
Yeah.
That's
exactly.
powerful stuff.
Yeah.
Now, definitely check out the Coach's Diary
Yeah.
Yes.
with Thessa. Link is in the
Yeah,
bio.
we
Yeah,
put it
we'll
in the
link you
bio.
in. So that will be awesome. And
Good. That's about it.
Cool.
that a wrap?
That's a wrap.
So-
Coach Thessa.
Good. Yeah, Tessa, thanks a lot.
Yeah, Tess, thanks for taking some time and talking with us. We look
You guys
forward
too.
to training with you
Yeah.
and reading more blogs.
Yes.
Awesome.
If you can read that, they're Dutch.
I
Yeah.
have Google Translate.
Cool.
Oh, that
awesome.
works.
No.
So if you want to see more about Barbells and Popcorn, just subscribe to our channel, and maybe just click the next video.
Yeah,
It's
that's
in there.
always a good way to go. Hey, thanks for watching. We'll see you again soon. Tess?
Awesomeness. High five? Yeah. So
High
no
five.
fist bump or.
Wait, sir.
Do the one with the fingers intertwined.